God for the month ahead. So, hello and welcome. Let's get ready. I thought today, the first Tuesday of the month in my Facebook membership group is Tarot Tuesday, where I do an individual tarot reading for free for anyone who would like one. So, I've just done that, finished quite quickly because there weren't as many readings to do this month. So, I thought I would appear here and just pull a card for the month ahead for us generally. For those of you who chance across this video, then this is for you. So I'm wrapped up nice and warm. Although that said, the weather has been a lot milder this week. It's been absolutely gorgeous. I went out without a jacket today, which is amazing. Right, so let's give them a bit of a shuffle. So the way that I choose the cards, they all look exactly the same on the back, and of course they're very different on the front. So I always do what I call a cold reading, where I'll choose the cards facing away from me. My preference also when I'm doing online individual one-to-one readings is that I don't know what the person wants the reading to be about. I prefer they don't say anything. Of course, if people want to tell me after the reading, which they always do, like, oh my God, wow, then that's absolutely fine. But in terms of the reading itself, let's just rock and roll. So I'm going to give them a good old shuffle. And then I'm going to choose one. Actually, let me just see if I've got anything here in that stack. I'm just having a little look, see. Sometimes sorry, you can probably hear that. I don't know if you can hear it actually. The click, 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 click. I'm just going to see if it's sitting here. Yes, that's the one I'm looking for. So for those who have never done a tarot reading before, this is pretty much standard, because oftentimes when I do the Tarot Tuesday, people are not there live. I just do the Facebook live. People will come up the next day, a couple of days later, and this was from someone who, as I said, wasn't there live. I just did the reading. They came back later. So they said, hi, Marilyn, I've just listened to the recording and OMG, exclamation mark, times 3. What can I say? You were 1,000,000% spot on with my reading. I'm blown away with it all. So as I said, I never know what people want the reading to be about. I'm just going to go with whatever comes up. So that's a little bit of a rapid backstory to that. Right, so let's give them a good old shuffle. I'm going to choose them facing away from me. And what I'm going to go for that one there. We're just kind of pulling a card just for some kind of things to think about, fun influences, bit of food for thought for the month ahead. All right, so we have the Ace of Ariel. Let me just show you that one. Ace of Ariel. I'll read it to you because it might not be completely clear on the card if you're watching on a small device. Oh, I like this. It says, it's your lucky day, exclamation mark. New resources of money, time, or support, a change in job, or a promotion. So with regards to this one, we've got our main protagonist. So on the left-hand side, as I'm looking at it, I don't know if it's reversed when you look at it online, but on the left-hand side, you've got all of the gold coins. And then on the right-hand side, as I'm looking at it, you've got the daffodils, which are coming to fruition. But with regards to this one, the new resources. So if there has been, let's just say you're working on a particular project, a piece of work, and you need a particular resource. So it could be like you are under the cosh, as we used to say back in the day, and you're like, my God, I just need more time. It feels as though that time will be coming. Now, it could be that the time comes in the form of additional help. It could be that the time comes in the form of you completing something. So now you've got a bit more time to devote to it. It could be that the time comes from you delegating something, or having a reshift of your priorities. So let's just say you're on a particular project, and this is probably common for many of you watching, particularly, I think this is streaming to LinkedIn as well. Actually, it is streaming to LinkedIn. I really shouldn't have, because my account was closed down last year, I believe, for doing a one-line post about Tarot Tuesday, but let's see how we go, fingers crossed. It literally was just a sentence saying it's Tarot Tuesday. I've just done the reading in the membership group. Anyway, I digress. So with regards to those of you who may be watching on LinkedIn, if you're in projects, you're a project manager, etc., or you just have a regular job, you could have got everything planned in terms of how you're going to do it, and then somebody puts something else on your plate and says, oh, can you just do this as well? Oh, can you just do this? Or can you get involved? And you're like, hold on. And if you're feeling brave enough, which is what I always recommend people do, rather than just buckle under the pressure of it, is you'd actually go back and say, yes, I can. And of all these other projects and priorities, which of those would you like me to put on hold, to delegate to someone else, to put on the back burner, or to go back and relook at the project plan and do a bit of rejigging of that? So it could be that that's where the time comes from for you in terms of reassessing some of those priorities. So the time, the money, the support, and of course, let's just say, for example, you are fundraising, as we are at the Watford Palace Theatre at the moment. If you'd like a gold plaque on the back of the seat, let me know. But it could be that you are fundraising. It could be you're going for seed funding. If you have your own business, you're an entrepreneur. It could be that you've put a pitch in for a piece of work. So this could be the month where you either, the ships come in and it's like the deal is signed, it's agreed, that's amazing. Or it could be that you start to see those first green shoots where you get to the next round, for example. So there's that as well. Now, with regards to a change in job or promotion, if you have been, scouting around, having a little look see to see what's there, what I'm going to say with regards to this one is keep a lookout. And this might be where I call it synchronicity, where you are thinking about something. You might even say to someone, "Oh, I'd really love to do this." So, for example, myself, I'd love to do more online corporate training because, of course, we now live in a world where people know that sort of thing is possible. So, it's not geographically dependent anymore. And then you might be having a conversation with someone who says, "Oh, yeah, we've been thinking of doing that." Or, "Oh, I just saw this thing the other day. Let me send it to you." So, just be open to those synchronicities. Or you could be scrolling through something, flicking through something, whatever it might be, and it's almost as though, like, oh, that light shines on it, it leaps off the page and it just gets your attention, or you hear something. So what I'm going to say is be on alert, be open. One of the things I've been saying for the last 25 years that I've been a coach and therapist to my breakthrough session clients after we do that one day breakthrough is notice what you notice. Now, I don't tell them what to notice, I just say notice what you notice. And boy, do they notice, because there's something about that statement that puts your mind and brain on alert. In photo reading terms, when we set a clear purpose, what you're doing is you're activating the RAS, the reticular activating system. So whatever your purpose is, your brain, your mind is now predisposed to start looking out for that. The notice what you notice is similar to that, but we would never set a purpose like that in photo reading. But it's a broader version of that, but it still puts your mind on alert just to notice. So if there is something, if you have been looking for a new job, you have been looking for a new promotion, it feels like this is a time where you're going to find it, you're going to get it, or it may be you get a foot in the door. And getting that foot in the door, you can then get a shoulder in, you can then do that. And also, by the same token, what I'm going to say with regards to this one, a change in job or promotion, it could be that you are the catalyst for someone else, where someone else says what they're looking for and you come across something. So it's not an opportunity that you want or need to take yourself, but you go back to that person. You say, "Hey, you were talking about this. I remember you said that." Or you might say, "Would you like, let's say you've got the connection, would you like me to put you forward? Would you like me to put your name in the ring, in the hat, whatever it is?" So you could be the one who's a conduit for someone else. Let's see, what else? Is there anything else we want to say about this? So it's your lucky day. New resources, time, money, support, a change in job and promotion. Hmm. Yeah, actually, one of the things I will say, because when I look at the main protagonist, I'm going to say she's kind of sitting pretty, if you put it in that way, kind of, relaxed, cool, calm, content. Whew. So as we come into the home straight, for me, I always say November is kind of the last full month of the year, because of course the back end of December it's Christmas, and many people start winding down second, third week of December. So with regards to this one, I know it's going to seem an odd thing to say, because you might go, right, let's go, what's the saying, hell for leather, and let's just push through. Actually, it doesn't feel like that for this month. This one feels like the month where you're actually going to take a little bit of time to sit, a bit of time to breathe, a bit of time to take stock, and a bit of time to reevaluate. And it's so funny, as I say take stock, I remember the old days of stock taking when I worked at Barkers of Kensington. Now, because I worked in the cash office and the export office, we never really did stock taking, but there'll be people in haberdashery counting buttons. and safety pins. I'm not kidding. It was that granular back in the day. Um, and so there was a particular points in the year where there was a big annual stock take, and that is the one where you're going to be there in the store all night, like 20, you're going to be round the clock. So because the stock taking happens after the store closes, and of course it needs to be finished by the time the store reopens. um, so this feels like if you haven't done it yet for this year, this will be a really good time in the next 3-4 weeks to actually do a bit of a stock take. So you can, a very simple version is, okay, what's gone well, what hasn't gone well, what have you achieved? What is yet to be achieved? And I would say, add to that, what are some of your proudest moments? What have been some of your proudest achievements? And then coming back to that finishing off piece, if there was something or things that you would like to do before the year closes out and before we get onto that home straight of December where it's like Christmas party time, what would the thing be that you'd really love to say, I have completed that by the end of this year? So this is a lovely time to really sit, take stock. And one of the things I'm going to say with those daffodils in the corner, I know it seems a bit be an odd thing talking about daffodils in November if you're watching this in real time, but one of the things I'm going to say about that is that this is also a really good time to start thinking about what seeds do you want to plant. I am the last person to talk to you about gardening. I have not got green fingers at all. I mean, I'm impressed that a plant that I've had for, oh my God, 30 years, those two plants are still alive in the kitchen. It's some kind of miracle. And somebody gave me a plant at the end of the photo reading workshop, and that was probably 6 or 7 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. And that one was going great guns until somebody built a house in front of my house and shut out the light. So I have to just find a better home, but the kitchen's too hot, too cold. But anyway, I'm not going to tell you about gardening, but one of the things I do know about gardening is you don't just plant the seed on Monday and go, where is it on Wednesday? Oh, no, 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 no. You have to be planting that thing often several months in advance. And there are certain seeds you have to plant at a certain time, because if it's too cold, you're going to frost them out. If it's too hot, if it's too wet, da, 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 da. So this is the time I would say we start looking at, as we close out the year, as we're looking into the new year, if there were things that it would be a good idea to put those wheels in motion now, such that by the time we get to February 2026 and beyond, now those things can start coming to fruition. Because many things, particularly in business, let's say if you are pitching, or in my day, I was a management consultant, specializing in central and local government. You don't just rock up to a government office and go, here I am, let me run your project. Let me design your leadership development program. Let me run your executive coaching program. No, you don't. You sit and you write the proposal, and then you wait, and then you're invited to this stage, and then if you get through that stage, you're invited to the next stage. So you know that if there's a particular organization you want to work with, number one, you look out for the proposals, the tenders as we call them, and then you've got to have enough of that lead time to have the time to fill it in, and then have the patience to wait, because there might be things that you work on now. You don't start delivering that training program until, spring the following year or the summer the following year. So take that same approach and really think about, number one, as I said with the other questions, what would you love to have ticked off the list by the end of this year? And number two, what would you love to do next year? And if it has got a lead time to it, start planting a few of those seeds now, so that you're ready when those things start to come to fruition. So that's what I would say about that one. Anything else? Anything else? Oh, and for those of you who are just kind of tuning into the live, that's the card that I'm talking about there. The Ace of Ariel. Yeah, actually, one of the things I will say, if I've just, I was saying earlier about you've got new resources of time, money, support. If you're like, no, I haven't, where is it all? Just take a moment, again, coming back to that whole thing where you just kind of sit and you take stock and just kind of ask yourself, okay, what resources do I have? If I were to make some adjustments as time, schedule, the way that you spend your time, what resources do you have? and what support is available. And we are now in a world where that support, because previously, if I was in an organization, I'm talking about support, I would normally talking about support staff, for example. That is no longer the case in the world that we live in now with AI. Your support could actually be a bot or something that you put into wherever your learning model is, chat gpt, grok, claude, whatever the flavor of the month is. And of course, Chat GPT came in kind of first, so they've got that generic term. When you say what it is, people know what you mean. But it could even be that that support isn't necessarily 100% human. It could be that there could be a more efficient way that you're doing something using those kinds of support resources as well. So ask yourself those questions. Take a moment to, if we go back to the Magic and Gratitude program that I launched, when was that? Gosh, 2011, I think was the first little iteration, but again, in a big way in February 2013. That one was, what are you grateful for? What do you appreciate? So really take a look and go, rather than go, no, it's hard, haven't got this, haven't got that. Take a moment to flip the script and look at what you actually have got access to. What do you have available? Because in NLP terms, neuro linguistic programming, people can make those blanket statements. It never works. Haven't got anything. You've got what? Nothing? Always? Never? And then that's how we get more specificity, and we start to really narrow down what is the thing that's missing. So for you, you can ask, now it's always obvious if there's money missing and that's the resource you haven't got, but really ask yourself, of the resources that are potentially scarce, what have I already got and what is required to fill the gap? And that would be a really good starting point, I would say. Right. Well, I shall leave that there. Here is to a fantastic month of November and beyond. And yeah, let's see what this month holds and what is in store. But a bit of stock taking, looking out for Lady Luck to be on your side, listening out, looking out for feeling into those wonderful synchronicities, being in the right place at the right time. One of the things I would say in terms of this, if it is about, new job or needing support resources, etc., one of the things that it does help to do is to open your mouth and ask for what you require as well, because there are times nobody even knows. And I was listening to something actually yesterday that was saying exactly the same thing. You got to speak up, you got to ask for what you want, you got to say what it is you require, because other people will oftentimes have no idea unless you actually speak those words and say what it is. So start to articulate it. Not, you don't have to broadcast it everywhere, but if you've got a trusted group of people, then those will be the ones to speak to. If you've got a coach, therapist, mentor, etc., have those conversations, because when you put out there what you are looking for and the resources that you do require, number one, people know that. Number two, if we look at it from the energetic side of things, then you've put it out there as well, and let that universal energy work its magic. So I will leave it there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. For those I haven't met before, I am Marilyn Devenish, the Neuro Success Coach, Rapid Transformation Specialist and Futurist from transformationstm.com. And if you would like a tarot reading, a one-to-one tarot reading, then it's coming across the bottom on the ticker tape. And also with the new branding thing that I'm doing, where I took a client through it for the first time on Friday. So just a couple of days ago, if you're watching this in real time, today is Tuesday. And I took them through a brand positioning and marketing process, where at the end of that, they get a 50, where their report was 54 pages. I'm going to say approximately 50 pages. And they were like, wow, Marilyn, I wish I'd had this 6 to 8 months ago, because we paid a brand consultant. Actually, they either paid 4,000 or 5,000. They couldn't remember exactly the figure. I've just gone with 4,000. So they paid the brand consultant 4,000. That took a week. And they said what we had just done in that hour was more comprehensive and really spoke with their voice. So if you want to take a look at that, it is limited. I'm only going to do between 3 and 5 of those per month. So I've got 2 more I think I can do this month. And then we'll be looking into December, but that's going along the ticker tape as well, coming up any second now, if you're looking below. So yeah, you can check that out as well. I might put one in. So it's www.marilyndevenish.thrivecart.com /visibility-success blueprint. So yeah, it could be on that, or you might just want to see what the future holds as we close out the year. I'm not a fortune teller. It's really often telling people what they already know, giving them a little intuitive nudge as it goes. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And here's to a fantabulous month and beyond. I will catch you later.